So, hi Han, let's go with your animation. First of all, I'd like to say that it's very good in terms of design and spacing. There are just a few moments that we can improve on. So let's start with sparks. So the sparks look quite nice and the motion is quite nice as well. The only thing we can probably work on is some parts in spacing and mainly these parts going inwards. So it feels a little bit strange that these parts go inside the smoke instead of going outside it, because it's explosion, everything is propelled inwards, outwards, and it just seems a little bit strange that it just sucks some of these sparks back. So what I would probably do is just erase them there and erase these parts there as well, and that would probably be enough. In terms of overall spacing, everything is quite fine. These ones are okay. This one I would probably move a little bit further in that direction. And those ones are okay as well. We can make the slowdown a little bit faster and the acceleration a little bit more noticeable. So on these frames we can stretch it even further. So that on these frames we can completely detach it from the form and slow it down quite considerably. The second note I'd like to take is the ring. First of all, I would probably make it a little bit more accurately and keep the form a little bit more and probably keep it longer. So the problem is that it has this kind of ring shape, but it doesn't really follows the perspective or something like that of the ring, especially at the edges and the transitions. So to have an easier time we can just create this sort of ellipse. Erase it out, and I don't really see what I'm doing. Why I picked out red of all colors? And you see how the shape differs, especially on the edges, the transitions between thick, so it probably is thicker on the front edge, thinner on the edges, and behind, and that way we've got a more pleasing design. And then we can slowly, so we can start it smaller than that, rotate it compared to the form, compared to the position of the form. Then we can quickly expand it even more probably than that and stop it quite quickly while making it thinner, and then start breaking it into particles. The problem is that you don't keep the shape and the angle of the ellipse consistent. Yeah, because it's very hard to keep it consistent when it's a hand-drawn thing. So there are two options. We can use Animate or After Effects and create this ellipse there using frame blending and other things, animating on transformations. For example, we can animate it in TV Paint using this kind of tools and rotation instead of relying solely on drawing it by hand, and that would allow us to draw way more precisely. And I would probably keep the ring a little bit longer on screen and let it fade away slowly. So I would probably start it quite smaller, a little bit smaller than that, expand it quite quickly while keeping the same perspective on the ellipse, then slow it down considerably while still moving it, and then move it slowly for 3 to 4 frames more, letting it be thinner and thinner and then thinner, and then break it into particles, but not that uniformly, more like you have the particle here, the particle there, particle here, some kind of particle small there, in a different shape, and not that uniformly. And that would make it a little bit more interesting. So, speaking about the explosion itself, as I said, it's quite well done. If anything, I would probably add it just a little bit more motion in some places. So here it expands, and then it stops very fast, and I would probably move it for several frames a little bit more. So instead of just stopping it there, I would add a little bit more time and frames to decelerate it. And then decelerate it instead of just stopping it almost instantly. Because in that version the speed of smoke is almost consistent from this frame bomb, so it instantly slowed down, and then the pace and the speed is the same, and it just doesn't feel right in some places. In some places it feels okay, but in some places it feels a little bit strange, especially in this one. Aside from that, the design is quite good. The spacing of the particles is very good as well. We can play a little bit more with the speed of the transition on some particles, but overall it's quite good, and the spacing, the rhythm, the rhyme is quite nice. So wish you good luck with further animations, and see you later.